I'm going by the fake name of Greg. I got a job at Time Infinity Corp many years ago after I left the military. At Time Infinity Corp, we have many clocks. Big, small, medium, digital clocks, grandfather clocks. If a type of clock exists, it can be bought at Time Infinity Corp. But this shop has a dark secret hiding under it. To understand the secret, you must know that time is a physical place. It is a reality outside reality, and is full of energy called time radiation, or TR for short. Time Infinity Corp was made to study this place, but during a study, something happened. This incident is called the Awakening. Time is full of creatures. One of these creatures is called a time squid, a giant squid that is blue and radiates high levels of time radiation. The Awakening was an incident that involved a time squid entering our world and releasing high levels of TR. Time radiation affects all organisms in different ways, but basically, people and animals that come into contact with time radiation change. During the Awakening, the whole world was covered in time radiation, and many creatures and people and plants and fungi were changed into horrors. Time Infinity Corp's new goal is to find and study these horrors. My job involved hunting down the horrors and catching them to write reports about them. I have many stories to share about my hunts, but I want to focus on the story of my most recent. I was sent to investigate a sighting of a living skeleton at a nearby farm with 3 other hunters. When we got to the farm, it was around 12:30 a.m. The owners of the farm had left after seeing the skeleton horror, so the place was pretty much abandoned. We walked around and didn't see anything. We set up a camp and put the cameras up. It was around 2:40 a.m. when the camera went off. We jumped to action and found the creature eating out of a trash can. We approached it with caution. It looked up at us and watched us as we walked closer. We were able to get very close to it, and we surrounded it. It looked like a human, but it walked on all fours and had talons like birds, large sharp teeth like a dog. It sat at the trash can and just looked at us. Suddenly, it jumped out at one of the other hunters and started eating him. We had guns, so we fired, but it did nothing. The bullets did nothing. We tried to pull it off him, but there was no use. We had to retreat. This wasn't the first time a horror attacked and killed a hunter, but this was the first time a horror killed something and nothing affected it. We called for backup. Backup arrived at 4 a.m. and now we had 10 hunters. We had guns, flamethrowers, swords, and all other types of weapons that we could get our hands on. We approached the trash can where it was, and it was still there. The hunter killed was nothing but blood-covered bones. We approached and used the flamethrower to push it back. Nothing. We fired shots at it. Nothing. We used everything we had, and it just sat there and watched. Nothing was affecting it. We ran out of bullets. We were going to retreat, but suddenly it jumped at another hunter and slashed his throat, and then jumped to another hunter and another. All we could do was run. and it followed. We got to the vans and left. We had 10 men. 6 survived. We are calling this creature the Stalker. This was the first unsuccessful hunt I have been a part of. I have been in bad hunts, but the bad hunts end with us catching or killing the horror. This hunt neither happened. The fact this horror is still out there is terrifying. We've sent people to gather info about the farm from a distance, but we haven't got any new info other than the fact it avoids mushrooms at all costs. I have other stories to tell, so I may post an update one day, but this is all for now. Well, that was a good story, wasn't it? Bit of fun. Nice and short, I suppose. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be doing the second one, because thankfully there was one. But yeah, do the usual if you want. Like, follow, subscribe. You don't have to, but it'd be nice to see you around. Hello, Rig here. I wasn't going to make an update so soon, but I have good news. The horror, called the Stalker, has been caught. We used mushrooms to scare it into a trailer. Well, I thought I would share another story. This one has a backstory that predates me working for the TIC. A week after the awakening, when reports of unknown creatures started to surface, there was a report of a flying man with red eyes. The team went to investigate and didn't just find one, but a legion of these horrors. They were nice and friendly, even offered the investigators food and water. The investigators took one back to study. After some tests, it was determined that it was a highly evolved moth, or Mothman. Well, the rest of the legion didn't like that one of their friends was taken, so they started to attack humans. Because of this, they were labeled as a threat and killed, except for the 2 that are currently kept in a very secure cell. Anyway, my story with them involved being tasked with cleaning their cell. I was annoyed, but I was told I would be paid extra, so I agreed to the task. The cleaning went well since both of them were asleep. I finished quicker than I thought it would be, and I went to leave when suddenly I tripped over and woke up the moths. They walked over and helped me up. I thanked them and walked to the door quickly. Well, they followed. I got to the door and went to leave, but they got in the way and refused to let me out. One of them grabbed me and threw me to the ground. It then started to bite me. It threw me around, and the other one decided at some point to join in. They bit me, scratched me, threw me. They pulled on my limbs and bashed my head into the wall. It was around about an hour of beating when they stopped. I was covered in cuts and bruises, but I got up and I ran to the door. I escaped. I contacted the upper management and explained to them what had happened. They told me the Mothmen hate humans, so it wasn't unexpected. I was so angry. Why would they send me into a room with creatures that wanted to beat me up? I talked to one of my colleagues 2 days later, and they said that the uppers send people into the Mothman cell to be tortured, as it helps keep the Mothmen from becoming depressed and feeling helpless. I realized I wasn't being paid to clean the cell, but I was in fact being paid to be used as a punching bag by Mothmen. Well, I have one more entity to talk about. Unlike the other past ones, this one is human and may be the most powerful. Her name is Jezebel, and she has the power to shapeshift into anything with 0 limitations. Because of this, it has been impossible to keep her in her cell, as she would just shapeshift into a form of herself that can not be contained. Meaning the doors would unlock the second we locked them, or she could just shapeshift into a form of herself that could teleport and leave. The uppers considered everything from execution to trapping her in the time world, but instead they decided to construct a microchip that turns off her powers. They told her about this chip, and told her that she can be free provided she gets the microchip, and she agreed. She has checkups every now and again to make sure that the microchip is functional. I mean, she's a really nice person, but she is considered threat number 1, as she could basically destroy the universe anytime that she wanted. Anyway, I may do one more update, but that may be really far into the future. Greg, signing off. Hey everyone, Grim here. Just gonna give a quick touch on base. This is something I've been thinking of doing since I started doing 1-part, 2-part series. I'm going to be combining them into one large file and uploading them as a singular video maybe once or twice a month, depending on how many of the stories have been completed. Every time I get a series or a new series, I'll release them out on a weekly basis, so you can keep being interactive with me, tell me if there's things you want to hear improved, and then after that's been done, I will release it as one whole. Now, I'm not going to take too much of your time. As always, be safe wherever you are, and this is Grim, signing off.